I'm Laurie Blake, stepping in for Luke Owen, and this is the WrestleTalk news. Today's top story is WWE rehire another release star, because it was the story of 2022. Vince was out for his sins, Triple H rose to power, and then immediately used that power to install a roster full of talent that he liked. Like the second that Vince was stepping out the door, he was sneaking, carrying, crossing through the back. Come in, Carrie. People are going to care about you. Now in 2023, that rehiring process, to add depth, you see, has slowed down massively, with Endeavor as the new company overlords and Black Phillip Vince clip-clopping his way back into the company. Living deliciously is no longer easy. But Triple H can still sneak the taste of butter every so often. Black and gold brand butter too, his favourite. I mean, he's rehired someone from NXT, because you'd have to have seen The Witch to understand what I'm doing here. I'm not talking about The Witch.
Great movie.
Watched it recently. It's great. The name in question is former NXT UK star Eddie Dennis, who was released from WWE along with pretty much the entire NXT UK roster when the brand was dissolved in August 2022. Now, Dennis's re-signing would be revealed via WWE's LinkedIn page, of all things, in a video highlighting their corporate hires. Now, usually these things are about as dry as a digestive biscuit in the Sahara, but for those who managed to get through the soul-crushing boredom of just having been on LinkedIn in the first place, there was Dennis nestled amongst the announcement. Dennis was an NXT UK mainstay during his time in the company, signing in 2018 and appearing on numerous NXT UK takeover events. However, unsurprisingly, given the rather under-the-radar re-signing, it seems we won't be seeing Dennis on our screens tying it up in the ring anytime soon, as the Welshman has instead signed on to become a backstage producer/writer for the NXT brand. And it shouldn't come as a massive surprise, really, as the 37-year-old recently announced his retirement from in-ring competition at a Rev Pro show on March 27th, so you would assume that this job offer from the E probably played a major factor in that decision. Welcome back to the fold, Eddie. You remember the rules, right? No sneezing, don't be taller than a talent if you're an interviewer, it's all that sort of thing. Well, there is apparently another new set of restrictions on WWE talent, according to Brian Alvarez of the Wrestling Observer, who noted on WO Live there is a new rule that WWE talent are not allowed to take pictures of their injuries or take pictures of any blood whatsoever. Theirs or anyone else's, I'm guessing. Now, we all know that WWE do not like their talent bleeding, and they usually do all they can to prevent that from happening. Unlike in AEW, where you can't go 10 minutes without Jon Moxley busting himself open. But this is kind of a new one, especially as the battle scar picks have become kind of the norm for wrestlers after particularly grueling story-focused matches. Roman Reigns has done it recently. Cody Rhodes has done it recently. Now, the reasoning behind the new rule is, of course, unknown right now, but my guess would be that it could be to do with the TV rights renegotiations, as WWE is out there trying to sell a PG product, but if their talent are all over the internet showing off bloody wounds and battle scars, prospective buyers see that there's an incongruity there. They might be put off. Moving across to AEW now, and while they don't have quite as much backstage weirdness, they do have plenty of backstage drama. So much so that they're making a whole new show, reportedly, in order to stop CM Punk and the Elite from biting each other backstage. So given that AEW have their new Saturday show Collision on the horizon, what are the other 6 pieces of programming that they pump out on the regular? Well, amongst AEW All Access, Dynamite, Rampage, ROH, TV, Dark, and Dark Elevation, something's gotta go. And that seems to be Warner Bros. Discovery's mission statement, as according to Andrew Zarian on Twitter, the stat-padding YouTube shows of Dark and Dark Elevation have been scrapped, for the time being at least. According to Zarian, the decision was reportedly made due to the upcoming AEW Collision, as well as Warner Bros. Discovery wanting all AEW content to be exclusive to their network. Interestingly, however, despite ROH essentially being AEW, the new Warner Bros. Deal does not seem to include ROH in any form, with the weekly TV show likely to remain an online exclusive on Honor Club for now. And as redundant as Dark and Dark Elevation often were, they were at the very least a great opportunity for some of AEW's bloated roster to get some shine. However, as noted by Fightful Select, AEW's prospective talents will still likely get those opportunities, but now just on the Ring of Honor brand. So even less accessible because it's behind a paywall. Now, Fightful would also report that all these changes are expected to result in an altered version of AEW's current TV deal with Warner Bros. Discovery, or even perhaps a brand new deal altogether, something that is anticipated to be announced perhaps on May 17th, when Warner Bros. Holds its annual upfront.
I wish there was a way for me to prove that I know the most about predetermined wrestling results. That would show them all.
Sure, Survival Series proves how much I know about the past, but what I really want is a way of proving how much I know about the results of future matches.
I know every Royal Rumble winner in reverse chronological order. Man, if only more people knew how cool that is. If only there was a way to show the world how cool I am.
WrestleLeague. WrestleLeague is the best way to show all your friends that not only are you really cool and attractive, but also that you're the best at predicting the results of specific wrestling shows. The winner of each season, which run between WWE's Big Four pay-per-view shows, will win $250 worth of Amazon vouchers, which is enough to buy lots of new possessions. And everyone knows new possessions are the root of all happiness. Enter via the link in the video description below. The new season starts with WWE Backlash on May 6, 2023.
Thanks, WrestleLeague.
Luke.
It's okay, my sweet. They're not ready for you yet. It's off camera now.
It's Thursday, you know what that means. My review of AEW Dynamite. In about 5 minutes, I'm probably not going to stick to that. Taking place in Baltimore in an arena scaled for 500 people, the show opened on an 8-man tag of the JAS versus the Disputed Era. Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, Bandito, and Orange Cassidy, while Chris Jericho was on commentary wearing a t-shirt that glorifies domestic violence. Bandito's incredible. Orange is still the best fighting champion in wrestling. Roddy has debut momentum, and Cole kept his anger boiling throughout, sprinting up the ramp as soon as he won it to brawl with Jericho, tearing up the curtain backdrop like they were two fighting cartoon cats. After the break, Cole was dragged out by the parking lot by security, likely setting up some kind of suspension angle, so a wild Britt Baker appeared just to slap Jericho in the face. A great bit of heel comeuppance after the last 2 weeks. Bryan Danielson then guaranteed he'd never get cheered in Canada again, saying Bret Hart had a bad catchphrase. Best there ever will be. If Bret really loved wrestling, he'd want people to be better than him. He compared this to the Elite, who he feels have leveled off. So Jon Moxley then revealed next week it'll be him versus Kenny Omega in a steel cage. Boy, that escalated quickly. Kenny and Don Callis got a reply promo later on, where both did a great job selling the match. Everyone knows Kenny would beat Mox in a straight wrestling match, but a cage is different. We got a rare Saraya singles match against Willow Nightingale next, but something that wasn't rare was the same strategic error the babyface women's division has made on a weekly basis since January. Hey, babyface wrestler, you've got a match against member of the Outcasts. Want me to be in your corner in case they try anything? I'm sure it'll be fine. They interfere every week. I'm a babyface, I therefore have to be strategically dumb. You're going to lose, and then they're all going to beat you down afterwards. Oh, if they do that, don't come out either, because I'm a babyface and cover you with spray paint. Oh my god, what? It'll be green. Really? Oh my god, if it looks like they're about to use the spray paint, save me right away! Great, I'll cue up my entrance music. Unsurprisingly, that's exactly what happened again. Despite her plucky underdog courage, the numbers overcame Willow and Saraya got the win. But this time, it was a returning Shida who made the save after first fooling everyone she was about to side with the Outcasts. Baker and Hayter helped, and the faces celebrated finally getting one over the heels. A fun angle, even if Willow Thanos'd away before she could stand tall too. Remember the Trios Championships? Because AEW just remembered they have them. It's tough to keep track of all the titles when they're not on the Elite. Champions House of Black did a cryptic open house challenge promo, which means a match with 20-second countouts, no rope escapes, and DQs for a specific rule of the opponent's choosing. Hopefully that'll be used to tell a really dramatic story rather than get tripped up by its own rules. Really, the Tres de Mayo Trios Battle Royal should have been to crown the #1 contenders for those belts. Instead, it was left as just a match for momentum. Made for fun action, with QTV off to find a plan C after him and Aaron Solo and Powerhouse Hobbs were eliminated, and Anthony Bowens and Daddy Ass working together fantastically as the final faces left in. The Acclaimed one, which sets up a super weird tonal clash feud with House of Black for Double or Nothing. I personally would have much preferred Lucha Bros and Vikingo go over for the payoff match craziness, and say it with me, it should always be Pentagon. Wardlow squashed enhancement talent Logan LaRue with 3 powerbombs and then called out Christian and Luchasaurus Dark. Enough with this blue balling, he said. He's issuing an open challenge right now to Hoss slap Luchasaurus down. Christian, as is his way in AEW, had a wonderful smart heel swerve. The match won't happen in your local town because it's for Christian himself. I didn't know I wanted that match so much. Next up, we had segment of the night, nay, the month, nay, the whole 21st century, when Team TNA got a pre-recorded sketch visiting Mark Briscoe at his farm in Sandy Fort, Delaware. This was wrestling sketch perfection. Mark putting Jay Lethal, Jeff Jarrett, Satnam Singh and Sanjay Dutt to work. Singh holding a baby. Jeff Jarrett driving a tractor. Jeff Jarrett holding a shovel. Jeff Jarrett about to play with my baby tonight on guitar to a baby. Even better, he was interrupted by Daddy Briscoe, who told Mark to be wary of the guy in overalls. Which one? He replied, pointing to 3/4 of Team TNA wearing overalls. Sometimes you don't need a 2-year-long story. Sometimes you don't need a shoot backstage brawl to add drama to a wrestling feud. Sometimes you just need a couple of dumb skits that make you fall in love with the characters involved outside the realms of a wrestling ring or a wrestling backstage area. So when Lethal called out FTR for a tag title match at Double or Nothing, and Sanjay Dutt wanted to talk tactics with Mark because the Briscoes have beaten FTR before, I guarantee you, not a single fan groaned. A lot of people are going to point to the 43,000 tickets sold for Wembley in just 2 days as Tony Khan's biggest success of the year. The correct answer, though, when it's all said and done, is getting Jarrett over in 2023! The Bullet Club Gold versus Ricky Starks and Friends feud is unfortunately less than the sum of its parts. Starks beat Juice in a decent match, Jay White jumped him after, but Ricky ultimately scared both heels off. Not the strongest look for Jay and Juice. And the main event saw the obscenely fun 4 Pillars tag of MJF and Sammy Guevara versus Jungle Boy and Darby Allin. The match had been built throughout the night, with Max and Sammy hilariously making up after MJF didn't let Guevara in his car last week, and a nice bit of babyface friction when Darby walked in on Max talking to Jungle Boy, even though Perry had declined MJF's offer to join him. The match itself was so much fun, mostly because of Max and Sammy's over-the-top Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho level chemistry. They had awful mashup entrance music. They used every cheap heel cheating tactic in the book. They called Baltimore an abortion on the mic during the ad break, but most importantly, they all got their receipts, making the faces look awesome. I'm genuinely gutted this is only a few weeks long act as they're so good together. I wish we had this back when Max joined the Inner Circle. Of course though, heel's gonna heel, and when both men wanted to make the winning pin, they combusted. They did not coexist. Max slapped Sammy, Sammy super kicked Max, which led to Jungle Boy hitting a move for the win. Or did he? Because the exact same dynamic played out amongst the faces. Darby got the blind tag and hit the coffin drop to get the pin. A superb spot getting over the friction between everyone in this ring, no matter what side of it they were on. It'll be the fatal 4-way match at the pay-per-view and a huge feather in the cap of AEW and MJF for using it to build its house pillars higher. This week's Dynamite is 80%. Watch on to find out about the chaos behind the scenes in WWE.
Now usually these things are about as dry as a digestive biscuit. Dry as a digestive... I can't say that. Digestive. Dry as a digestive biscuit.
How now, brown cow?
How now, brown cow?